So I'm just coming here to the art gallery after my medical Botox appointment for my brain thing. And I described, like, the needles, you can kind of see where they went in, at least in my face. I described them as like a bee sting or a wasp sting. And he's like, yeah, lots of people say that. And then what happens? This wasp, he's still alive. He just lands on me. I don't want him to curl up and get me in the thumb. What the heck? What is happening? I want to open this up or close it up. There we go. That's weird. That was very weird. Anyway, I go and describe something as a bee sting, and then I potentially almost got stung again by this bastard. Anyway, welcome to another vlog. Yeah, I literally went to the gallery just to move one picture for a moment to take a picture for my Instagram, because I realized I forgot to take one for my Instagram. That one I'm not getting scanned, so I'm not gonna have a picture later. So I was like, oh, in case it sells, I should probably take a picture of it now. So yeah, that was that. But what I'm more excited about, this is the boneyard. What we call the boneyard. It's like a yard of junk that I hope to use, except for this pile right here. I don't need that. I need to move that, and I need to move that because what I'm doing in the boneyard is building something for this truck here. This truck here. I already have enough vehicles that I want to keep. So everything I don't want to keep, I need to have a place to put the parts of those that I do want to keep. Make sense? Oh, what the heck? Is that? This lens is broken too? God. Or what is that? Am I going nuts? I literally just got this phone, I don't know, like 4 months ago. And all the lenses, let's turn this around. All the lenses, oh, this one actually is, oh, there we go. See that glare? That's right here. Yeah, that's so annoying, right? And now the macro lens, if that's what you call it, that one's fine, but imagine watching everything so it's so close and looks all shuttery. And now the wide angle lens, it has that. Even the flashlight is effed up. Yeah, it's because I I was welding too close to the freaking lens, and now it's starting to really fracture. It's okay. All right, time lapse. So one of the things I was curious about in pursuing this project is how it will affect my brain thing. So a quick recap for those of you who haven't been following along. I injured my head a little over 2 years ago, resulting from, I don't actually really know how it happened because I don't have a concrete diagnosis yet. But basically, we've been trying to figure out how to treat it. And part of that treatment has been trial and error. Does this work? And nothing has worked. But now I have gotten two types of injections. One is oh, hey, Penny. As I'm doing this voiceover, Penny just jumped on my lap while I sit in my studio. Anyway, I did a couple injections of a nerve blocker, and I can't remember what that was called. At the time that this has been filmed, it had been, I think, 3 weeks since I had gotten that. And then the day just prior to this, I also got some injections, but they were Botox for medical purposes. And the first day I was supposed to take it easy. Now this is the day after, and I actually have already, if you can look closely at my clothes, I went and did a taping job. And so basically I'm trying to figure out how well these injections work for my pain management, because physical activity always makes it worse. So I want to see how well I can do. There's Hans waiting for me. Look at that beard. Look at him. I'm gonna follow him to his place because what we're building is dictated by what he has to give me, because we're ready to build. I took all the junk, I sorted it, took what I needed to take to the dump. Well, that's done. Normally I would just burn all that wood, but there's a fire ban and I need that space now, and I don't feel like moving that junk just to another pile. But anyway, Hans just happens to be flying by, so I was like, hey, I'll follow you, because I kind of forget how to get there. And he's like, all right, first I gotta take the old lady next door to get some groceries, and then I will be ready to go. And so here we are.
Mr. Alexander, how is it going there, bud?
Enough about me. How's Hans?
Hey, I'm good.
That's good.
Doing my good deed for today, and you know, living the dream.
So I was actually given these rafters 2 years and 4 months ago now, has it been, for a greenhouse project I had in mind, but I had to put that on hold because of my stupid brain thing. But I'm actually glad it worked out this way. Minus the freaking brain pain. I could have done without that. But I have a better idea for the greenhouse now. So these will go towards this project. Hopefully they work out.
Yeah, I don't know what size of building you're actually working on or thinking about putting up.
Well, the size of these will dictate that. That's why I wanted to come get these first. You know?
It's roughly 12 feet from this point
To the bird's mouth?
Yeah.
Well, I think we're a little big. We're a little big with the trusses. And then if I moved it this way, then I'd be a little small with the trusses. Well, that means that I am going to have to drastically change what I was going to do, and that's okay, because what I'm going to do now is actually make it even better, at least aesthetically. I don't even know how much more this is going to evolve, because I'm using a bunch of reclaimed material. Those rafters are from Madame Rack's garage, where she parked her blue Cadillac. If you know, you know. This bit of lumber here, these 2x8s, they came from a wooden sidewalk on some Landon!
What's up?
Hey, where did you get all those 2x8s from again? It was a sidewalk, right?
It was a salvage from a oil field campsite, like a big dorm unit. So those actually came from the deck.
Ah,
Yeah.
all right. I see. So I'm going to try to use as much reclaimed as I can. I actually don't even know what length these are. They may or may not even work with those rafters. Oh yeah, they're too short by quite a bit. That's okay. That's okay. I will just evolve the design on the fly sort of thing in my head as I go, just to accommodate all the different sizes that I have. I'll figure it out. All right, I have this basically all done here. It's just your standard joist ladder box made with the reclaimed stuff. Some new, right? Because I had to buy some new stuff because I just don't have enough scrap and reclaimed stuff around. Now, since it's not treated, I have to make sure that none of the ground is touching it, just for its longevity. So I'll scoop some more of that gravel away, which shouldn't be that big of a deal because gravel equals drainage. But just to be safe, after that I can cap it, which I think I'm going to do with this stuff right here. I think I should have enough, and then that will look good, especially for being a bunch of cull lumber. All of this sheet goods came from a local lumber yard out of their cull section. I just one day with my gramps bought it all. That's why it's a little mismatched here and there. It's all the same size, luckily. But if it wasn't, I would have made it work. It's just a shed. I did have to modify it a little bit. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this. I had to cut the tongues off because they no longer fit into the grooves. I'm thinking because they sat out in the elements for a while and the tongue just swelled up and the grooves got a little mashed up and stuff, so they never mated properly. And I was like, you know what, screw this, cut it off and be done with it. It's not going to affect this application whatsoever. There's no spring anywhere, and they all mate nice enough for something like this, so I'm not worried about it. Thank you to Landon for helping me finish this just before the rain came. That was a big help because it would have taken me a bit longer to do on my own. And if it hadn't rained, I probably would have just kept on going on to walls, actually, because I was still feeling pretty freaking good. Now, with my new design, if you even want to call it a design, my new design on the fly plan, as it were, will not work with the amount of lumber that I bought. So I will probably have to go get more. Not probably, I will have to get more, but I can have a good start on it anyway with what I have, and then maybe I'll adjust the plan once again. Who knows? All right, I think that's about all I can do with the material I have. I have no lumber left except for the 12, which I will use for a very top plate up there to tie the tops together, but I don't have the other 3 pieces at the moment, so I'm just going to leave that for now. But it'll essentially, because it'll be in time lapse, might be hard to see, go from here all the way to here, and it'll tie the walls together. And then this one will have a shorter one, and then that one will have a longer one, and then a shorter one. And then I can put on what will be our ceiling structure, which actually I think I'm going to use some more of the stuff that Landon brought out. I was thinking, because the design I want to do is very specific, and I was looking on the tubes for it, for some insight, if you will, and I noticed that that style of architecture uses beams. And well, I have these beams here. I got some oak ones here, but they're not long enough, I don't think. They might be, but I don't think so. I need to be at least 12 feet plus the, what is it, 4 inches or whatever it was. I can't remember what the measurement was. And then I got this piece here, which could work too, so maybe I'll use that. But I also have these fir pieces. Now I have 2. I'm going to rip them down in half, so I'll have essentially 2 3x6s. Now if I have to use this and that and those, as long as we have the same height, we'll be good. Because this style of architecture, at least back 500 years ago, they kind of just hand-hewed, I think, some logs to roughly the same dimensional measurements, but like even to the naked eye, it varies enough that you can tell that they're different sizes. I don't think they had any standard of measurement. I think maybe perhaps they just like measured with their hands or something, and not everyone has the same size hands. So they're just like, oh, okay, make this about a hand thick, and that one's a hand thick. I have no idea how they actually did. They probably had measuring sticks, but there wasn't a standard. Maybe. I don't know. But as you can see, I'm figuring it out here, and this is gonna look good. I'm not sure what I'm gonna put in the thumbnail, because I want this to come together as a sort of surprise where you're like, oh, I know what he's doing now. I don't know if it'll be obvious, but well, I had enough of this 3x rough sawn fir here to make 4, I guess you'd call them beams or stringers or joists, maybe even. Yeah, I guess joists would actually work. And I have them sitting on top of some very top plate 2x4s that I actually ripped out of this beam here. This used to be 3-ply. Took one of these 2x12s apart, ripped it down to set those beams on, but I don't have quite enough of those beams, so I went and picked up this beam here. Now it's 2 beams. That's all I'll need to continue, because the rest I will be able to figure out with this piece of beam here, which is leftovers from the taco place that I made, which I went to get lunch.
The layperson probably wouldn't notice this, but those of you who are in construction, particularly framing, are going to have to forgive me for my non-standard practices that I'm employing on this little project here. I went a little old school and didn't use any joist hangers because I didn't have any, so I'm just relying on the shear strength of the nails. I also didn't screw my subfloor. I nailed it because it was quicker. And then I didn't brace my walls before I did my upper deck. That can be a little unsafe and doesn't help with squaring. Luckily, this is a shed, not the Taj Mahal, although I don't think the Taj Mahal was built safely. If I would have known that Jarrett was coming along, I would have waited for him. It's too gangly to do by myself, so I got him to help me hang my lower course, which in turn squared everything up. And you'll notice a little further along that some of it I didn't stagger, but that's intentional. Also, this is nuts. That radiator cap I found in the back forest there. That's from my very first pickup truck.
All right, thank goodness Jarrett came. He actually just needed me to fix a little thing for him, and I was like, hey, while you're here, help me not be so freaked out. Because I didn't brace anything down here, it was very wobbly up there, which is kind of stupid to do. But it's hard to do the sheathing by yourself because the sheets are long and you can't see where they're supposed to line up on the far side. So thank you, Jarrett, for your help, because this is all nice. I was up there wiggling it around. It doesn't wiggle. You're not going to be able to see this on camera, but it's nice and solid with all this sheathing acting as bracing. British. Wait, is confectionery? What language is that?
What's that?
Confectionery. Confections.
What language?
Yeah, is it British? Is it English?
Well,
is it French?
Confectionery. Yeah, it's English.
It's English.
But confectionery does sound. I don't know the
answer.
It
sounds fancy, mate.
It does, yeah.
But actually, now I'm thinking about it, like British people, they don't make good stuff. Oi, can I get some crumbly biscuits, please?
They might make some good candy, and that's probably it.
Yeah, chocolate.
Yeah.
Good
They don't make good
anything. Good like
prosthetic
supper
teeth.
dinners, like they're just like could I get something that's dry and bland, please, with my loose tea?
Yeah. No wonder my teeth are falling out. Horse mouth all the time.
Yeah, it looks like they eat a lot of sweets, probably.
Yeah.
I've been smoking and eating sweets all day.
Great at making candy.
We get it from somewhere else though, because we can't make it worth shit. Now please continue depicting my bare breasts in this painting. Alright, so now that we have the bottom down, thank you Jarrett very much, because that made that go by like a breeze. I can do the top row, which will be a lot easier, because I can just rest it on top of what we have here, and I just know that it will be right. Doing the bottom sheets, we have everything squared up, so I won't have to worry about trying to like move it and all that stuff. I was actually wondering how I was going to do that by myself, so Jarrett came just at the nick of time. But top, I should be able to do easily by myself. The only thing I have to worry about is the expansion joint, which I think I will be able to do just with some spacers. And then I can fit the piece up there, and it should go decently well. Gatling gun. This was my favorite job to do when I was framing. Am I out? No, not quite out. Operating the staple gun when we would sheathe the walls. Of course, back then, since there was more than one person, we sheeted the walls while they were still on the deck, and then we would stand them all up together. I didn't do that here because I didn't think I'd be able to lift them up and handle them by myself very easily. But in the end, they're all up. I'll put a few more staples in there, and then I can cut out the freaking window.
Just FYI, I know that my expansion compression joints are massive, except for the one right in front there. I was using a piece of OSB as my spacer. Normally I would use like a square or a pencil or something, but I could get nice long spacers for my application, so they're big.
There we go. Now, you might be wondering why the OSB shoots past the roof. It's because this is not a Hacienda ice cream shack. Ashley thought this looked like an ice cream shack because of the green OSB. The green is just fire retardant. But it continues up past the upper joist. The reason why I call them joists is the same reason there's a hole in the ceiling. Well, check it out. We got a ladybug taken off. Maybe. Maybe now he doesn't feel like taking off. That's okay, he can hang out there. Anyway, there's a hole in the ceiling, which means that it's supposed to serve some sort of purpose. That ceiling is actually this floor. This is going to be a second story to the shed. Oh, there he goes. And we're a little bit in the trees up here, which was not intentional. So we're going to have to do some pruning here. I don't want to take the tree completely down. I did build it, you know, a little close, but this was the best spot to have it. And I wanted the shed to be here in this area. So I'm hoping that it works out that I can keep that tree. I already had to cut down these two trees here, which is probably why I found the radiator cap, because it was like right here, which is crazy because it flew a long ways. Because back when I released it from my radiator hot, which was stupid, I was parked about where this truck is, although it was the opposite way. So I opened it and it just went poof, huge volcanic eruption of coolant, went flying up, and I guess landed right here, which I find kind of nuts that it went that far. But that's exactly why you're not supposed to Well, it's also dangerous because you can burn yourself, and I did burn myself. It wasn't so bad, but you'll lose the cap. I had to get a new cap for that truck. I kind of wish I still had that truck. It was a brick nose. All of these ones here are arrow noses, which are the generation after. But man, I think about that truck all the time. All the time. And when I dropped it off at the new owners, I almost changed my mind. But I didn't have room for it, so I had to get rid of it. Maybe one day I'll be able to get it back somehow. Probably not, because the new owner's got it for his grandkids to learn how to drive on the farm, and he said that they were going to bag the crap out of it. But maybe I'll actually just go to the farm and see if they still have it one day. Maybe I'll do that in another vlog. But in the meantime, I am going to start building the second floor. I already prepped all of the studs that I think I'll need out of a bunch of reclaimed material that I had sitting here. I dwindled that down quite a bit. Quite a bitch. I got that pile dwindled down quite a bit, which is nice. Finally able to make use of some of that product. But before I can get to that, I think I should prune. And then I'm thinking I will actually be sheathing the walls before I put them up. They won't be as heavy as the ones downstairs because they won't be double sheeted. I think I can do it all with one sheet because I'm making the walls up here a little bit shorter. It'll make it easier because I'm not going to be able to reach them from the ground if I don't do it up here.
So it turns out that I did have enough material to brace before. I just had it full of nails in that kerplunk pile. I didn't know what was available, but now that this project has evolved like this, I'm trying my best not to spend anything, so I'm digging it all out.
Alright, so I got this wall temporarily braced up because I need to get some more nails. I ran out of nails. I didn't know this wall was going to be freaking gravel. I'm just coming back from the taping job that I started at the same time as the shed. Almost done it. Anyway, but once I grab some more nails, I can build the two side walls, which will hold the back wall up. They'll hold each other up, more or less. I shouldn't have it sit for another night. It all goes to plan. It's just the front wall is going to be the most time-consuming because I got to figure out how to integrate a window and what window and all that stuff. But it should all come together today so that I can put the roof on next. Well, it's looking good, but I ran out of wood for the front there. Luckily, I have a neighbor just around the corner here who also has a car porting problem. He's got 3, 4, 5, let's see here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, 14 that I can see from here, but not interested in the cars this time. He has, I think this should work, I think, maybe, hopefully. He has what I need right now. A bunch of OSB. How's it going, Rob? Okay. Not bad. Perfect. What? Yeah. That's why I made this the way that I made it. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just telling the folks about what happened. Oh, look at that. You can't see that, but my phone tells me when my phone is level, and sitting on the deck here, it says it's perfectly level. So that's awesome. Fresh peas from the garden, thank you, Ashley, are also awesome. You know what's not awesome, though? So I got this material from Rob, right? Well, actually, not this piece. I had this piece, but that piece and another one still in the truck. I thought I would need both of them, but then I saw that I had this. That's not important. What is important is I need my freaking phone camera to work. After 47 minutes of time lapse, I got a notice on my phone that said, warning, camera failed. So that's a bummer. But what you would have seen if it didn't fail is me basically put this wall together, framing the window, and then also do the very top plate, and possibly, although it would have been hard to understand what was happening because the translation of you sitting on a wide angle shot on that tripod there to me going, what the heck, from that far away, it probably wouldn't have been evident what I was frustrated about. But as you might be able to see here, if I get a little closer, yeah, this very top plate is like an eighth higher than the rest of them. And I'm really hoping it's not because this one is short. Actually, you know what? I have a tape measure here. I can just measure that. So they're supposed to be 5 feet. That's 60 inches. And we are, oh, perfect. We are 60 and an eighth. That is such good news. That means all I have to do is cut this, which I can do with a Sawzall, and then I can smack that down, which desperately needs, because look, you can see the whole wide world through that gap there. That's definitely no good. Yeah, that's freaking better. I'm almost ready for the roof now. But first I gotta put these two pieces on out here. Now, luckily, I noticed that Rob, this would be way easier if I wasn't using one hand. Let's try no hands, eh? Just kidding, I had already missed a few times. Exactly a few times, but I did get one in there. I got that one up in there. I'll just have to fasten a little bit more. Then it's time for the roof, and luckily Rob let me borrow his scaffolding. That noise is so annoying. Let's continue tomorrow.
So Rob did say I could use his scaffolding, but I didn't want to set it up. I was too lazy, so I never actually went and got it, which is stupid because it would have made things a lot easier. Once it's set up, that's the hard part. Taking it down and all that stuff, I guess, is too. But I was like, you know what? I don't feel like it. Luckily, I had help from Armando here to bring up the rafters. That would have been difficult to do on my own. But unfortunately, I didn't have anyone to help me do the sheeting of the roof. But I was able to figure it out. It just took a while. It's much easier when you have someone to help you do construction, I'll tell you that.
Well, that was a little difficult to do on my own, but I got it. I had to pass everything to myself, and so I had to like map out in my head how I was going to do each piece so that I wouldn't have to like keep going down and up and then eventually run out of holes to pass things to myself with. And so you might notice that the front side here, I laid a little unconventional, or the opposite of conventional, not just a little unconventional. The back side is laid horizontal, but the front side I have them vertical, which would only work with OSB because it has the same strength in any orientation that it's laid. You wouldn't want to do that with CDX or any other plywood decking because it would just droop unless you put blocking in, which I did, or strapping, which I did not do on here. I just didn't think that we would need that. So we got her buttoned up, all except for our little window dormer lookout thing. I'm gonna keep that open so that I can finish the rest of the roof, which I think I'm going to do. No, I know I'm going to do what I attempted to do here on our potting shed roof, which, if you look closely, for those of you who don't know, there's a little glass door there. That glass door will eventually go into our greenhouse, which will sit behind it. But that will be in another vlog at another time. There's only weeds growing up there, so it's a bit of a fail. The plants that we tried to grow up there, I think, didn't like the open sun. So they all died. They didn't come back the next year. But stuff does grow up there. Maybe also the shallow dirt. I don't know. We'll have to revisit that at another time. But in the meantime, I think I'm going to experiment with a different method over here with something I saw someone do to grow potatoes, which I thought was actually pretty cool. So first thing we got to start with is our vapor barrier so that we don't rot our new OSB. Another reason to use OSB is it doesn't rot like plywood does. It'll rot in a spot and you can replace the spot. It's way easier to patch, but I'm hoping that we'll never have to address that at all. Anyway, first things first, plastic. Whoops. It's a little messier and harder than it looks. I finally decided to put on a freaking tool belt here. I don't like wearing tool belts. But I didn't want to do a bunch of back and forth and up and down and all around. So I put on a tool belt. I also put on some fall arrest because, I mean, we're not super high, but we're high enough for it to hurt to fall. And the poly is slippery. I don't want to fall. And walking on that, I definitely, most likely would. Which is why I haven't yet addressed the corner here. Basically what I've done is I put down some Acoustiseal where I'm going to staple the poly, and then I put down the poly, squish it in, staple where it's Acoustisealed, and then I've taped over the staples. You can't really see underneath these, but basically everywhere there's a staple, there's tape. I'm trying to do my best to prevent any sort of water penetration. Acoustiseal, it never dries. I got it on my hands, still wet. The other tube I started with blew up, so I had to go get some more. But anyway, it's working out good. This here is, I guess we could call it a lattice ladder. Has two functions. I can walk on that, and also it's going to serve as a, let me just show you in the next step. Well, probably can't tell. It's raining. We got the plastic up just before the rain, which is great because I want to keep that roof decking as dry as possible so we don't have any moisture trapped underneath the plastic, even though we will still have airflow. I just want to keep it as dry as possible so that we don't have any rot issues at all in the future, because the plastic obviously doesn't breathe like your typical underlay, what do you call that? Tar paper, whatever you put under shingles is called. That's the tar paper doesn't breathe, but the conventional stuff does. What the heck is it called? Like the Tyvek stuff. So that's done. I think we will finish up the roof in the, let's see, after we paint. In the meantime, as you can probably tell by the glow on my face, the fire ban has been lifted, so I'm able to burn my scrap and leftover offcuts and all that stuff, which is nice because it was starting to pile up over the summer here. It's too bad that I brought all the other stuff to the dump already, because that cost me like 40 bucks to dump. I could have saved it by burning it. Anyway, we will get on with the shed project when it's light out again. Okay, now as it's been quite evident, I'm certain, and I really gotta move this stuff out of the way. This is a budget-friendly project. This is a don't break the This is a don't break the bank, there we go, project for us. Circumstance has changed the build from what I had planned in my head when we first started. That's just circumstance, but I'm happy with it. I think it's going to turn out great. I think we've spent $400 so far. We probably would have spent nothing if the rafters would have fit with our road here, but that didn't work out. But $400, that's pretty good for a building this size. I'm actually quite pleased with that. Everything else was our scrap, our leftovers, reclaimed, cull, things like that. And I think we've gotten pretty good. And in doing so, I've thought of what I think will be a nice end product. The one thing that we don't have laying around is siding. And that's one thing I was like, what can I do for siding? I do have a little bit, which I think I might use up in the gable area. But I don't have enough to do the whole thing. To keep our outbuildings cohesive, I'm thinking that I want to use the rest of this type of siding. I do have a little bit left over. So I'm going to use that for an accent up here in the gable spot. For the rest of it, I actually was inspired by this. Our little jetty here is reminiscent of a Cerdo. Oh, it's just Penny. I was like, what is that? Henry's barking. But it's just good old Penny. Don't mind the mess here. People are always asking where your brother is. Well, he's inside. He's just chilling on the window ledge. Anyway, back to this. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. We have plain OSB up here, but we have this. And having this, I was like, what architecture has that? I can use these beams. We can use the texture of the OSB. And we'll fill all of our compression joints with a piece of trim. I think that's going to look good. Now, if you're wondering, hey, won't the OSB just weather badly? Maybe. Maybe. This stuff will probably stand a little better chance with this fire guard on there. Right? But I also have this shed here, which is actually a, as you might be able to tell, a chicken coop. And if I have to recall, I've been here for 5 years, and I knew the owners of this property previous to me, and I think we built this another 5. This has been here for at least 10 years, and I mean, it's peeling a little bit, which you might expect because, you know, it's just a bunch of wood chips pressed together. However, if I take a little better care, even the stuff that isn't painted, this was a chicken coop that was like, you could spec it. So this was not how we would have brought it to the client. The top, not so good, but that had snow load on it and stuff. The top of that is probably fine because we put plastic up there, which is why I used the plastic on this one here. But the point is, I think it's holding together quite well. And if I take extra care with this one, I think we'll do even better. But first, okay. So one thing with this project that's been kind of a nuisance is getting up and down. I'm not carrying anything, so this is going to be quite slick, but that's how you get up and get down, kind of the same thing. It's not the worst. It certainly could be a lot more annoying, but it could be better. Stairs would be better. This hole needs to be cut out a little more. I already started there. And so I just need to take this part off. So I gotta clean that up. I have to clean up everything. Usually on site, you got you got someone else who can help you keep everything nice and clean. Gina, it's just me. It's just me. Good girl. Anyway, normally you have like a gopher or whatever. Some guy who can just come help you clean up, but not on my site, not today, not here at my house. So I think maybe I'll do a little bit of a cleanup here before we get to painting. I don't know how I'm gonna put this vlog together. I don't know what order everything is going in. Dang, stairs are nice, way better than the ladder.
I really wish I had done the stairs earlier because it would have made getting up and down easier, but I didn't. I found material sitting around the property and made them out of just basically scrap wood, junk wood, reclaimed wood, and I love them. Wish I would have done it earlier. By the way, if you're wondering what this noise is, I'm just mixing my orange drink in this big plastic cup. Anyway, since I was done the stairs, I was like, you know what, it's not raining, I'm going to try to get painting here. I do not like painting, which is, some people find ironic because I paint pictures for a living, but it's nothing like this. This sucks. I used to do this when I was contracting and stuff every so often, but I always gave a caveat. I always said, hey, I'll paint it, but just know I am not a painter. I was actually going to get Johnny B to do this, but he wasn't available.
Quick PSA, don't use my channel as a instructional guide or a how-to or anything like that. Don't do what I do the way that I do it. This is just for entertainment purposes. If you're going to be dealing with small particulates, aerosol particles, or anything else that could harm your lungs, wear your PPE. I should be wearing a respirator, but obviously I'm not, and that's dumb. Being outside doesn't justify not wearing one, but what the heck? Man, we keep finding all sorts of stuff around. That literally just hit my knee. What the heck? All right. Anyway, the time lapse didn't show the back, so here I am showing the back. All primed up, ready to paint after it dries. I kind of feel like there should be a window somewhere up here. It looks kind of weird that there isn't one there. I don't have a window, so I'm not going to do that right now, but I'm going to keep that in mind for when I do the trim pieces. Make sure that I can have a window in there if I choose to add one at a later date. But for now, this is what we have. I'm going to take a break, probably go take a shower maybe, because I am actually going to go for a little road trip. Not very many houses in this town. This is a good thing, because that will help me find where I need to go. Actually, I think there's that military personnel vehicle there. I know it has to be here somewhere. I think it's that alley that I should be in. So let me turn it here. I am meeting Alex to get some stuff, potentially stuff for my shed build here, but probably just our supplies. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Oh, and it's Alex. He must see me. Oh, there he is. There he is. He's calling me. No need to even answer. Because we found each other. And actually, this town, we did another clear out in this town before. I actually got a bunch of stuff from a garage. This was also a garage, and I got a shelf, which is what I was hoping for. I was wondering what there would be. Got lots of stuff, including this piece of glass, bunch of tools, creeper, jacks, all sorts of things. But I was most excited when I saw the big old shelf, because I was like, oh dang, I can use that. Definitely I can use that.
when I lifted that up, my head got stuck in this little acute angle here. Okay. It's touching the top. It's obviously touching the floor. Why don't I measure this? You guys are being held up by this tape measure. Let's see what we got here. As long as it's less than 7.5 feet, it will fit in theory. It looks like it's 7 feet and 1/4 inch. So it's got 1/4 inch of space. But of course, obviously, since it's got this width to it, it won't stand up in there. I think I'll just cut out this bottom shelf, because having this bottom shelf out, it's basically the same as just having the shelf between this and the ceiling. So I'm not too worried about losing this. Freaking daddy long legs. There he goes. Okay, so that would have gone up there, but since taking it off, this is about what, 5/8, maybe even 3/4 of an inch. It's probably 5/8 plus that 1/4 inch. We basically gained about an inch or so of storage space there. Now, I know that's not a lot, but sometimes that makes all the difference. In any case, it fits now, and I think it will work well. I like all the different cubbies here. We can like designate certain spaces for certain things so that everything has a place. I hope that we'll be able to have a system that works for that. You can see here, I actually wrecked some of the fascia pieces because it got wet in the rain, and it got a little splintery as I dragged it around and adjusted and grunted with it. But whatever, I don't really care what it looks like as long as it functions. I could probably just take off the rest of the pieces too, so it's all uniform, but I'm not too worried about that. My main concern was getting this thing painted before the rain came last night. So I got her all painted up, and I'm thinking it looks pretty freaking good. I didn't film it because, one, I was in a hurry to get her all nicely coated up, but also two, it's basically the same process as the priming. It wasn't much more to see, but I think that it's looking pretty good. Being all one solid color, I'm actually really digging it, because before, if I can get this lined up, hopefully that's good. It was not nearly as reminiscent of what I was trying to get to as an end product. Another thing, though, that you may have noticed is this here. I moved the chicken coop shed that was here and conglomerated it into one building, just so that we wouldn't have a bunch of random little buildings out. I think it looks a lot nicer when you have less buildings on a small property like this. So I attached it and I added this little bump out so we would just have a little more character, a little more dimension. It looks a little more whimsical. And then painted white, it looks good, because before it was all a bunch of different colors of all the different scrap and caul and leftovers that I had up there, but it's looking pretty good. So next, to bring us closer to our vision, is to put in the trim pieces, which I think is going to be wicked. I just have to go grab those. We're probably going to take this truck here. I've never had this many of these trucks in this driveway before. Look, we got one, that's my brother Ken's. Two, that one's also my brother Ken's. Three, that one's mine. So these are kind of the same truck. This one's diesel though. This one isn't 4x4. This one's also standard. And then that one there, which Ken has been taken apart, that's gonna go right away. This is also my brother Ken's, which he's been letting me borrow. And then this one here, which Ken is
currently working on with, you can see Ken's arm right there. And then on the other side is Rob. We're just taking out the back windshields, anything that we can use out of these trucks. Ken was just trying to, oh shoot, I just tripped on this bumper. That's another thing that we took off another truck, a different truck. But yeah, Ken just wanted the engine out of this. And there's Rob.
Hello.
There's Ken. Trying to get everything done quickly because this thing's going off to scrap as well. And then we're going off to the gold claim thing after. So I'm trying to get this done before that. So this trip, getting rid of the white truck over there, getting rid of some scrap metal, getting the sprayer that I borrowed from Jarrett back where it goes, and then picking up all the wood to do this.
So far, I've been pretty cryptic with the style that I'm going for here, or the, I guess, the era I'm trying to mimic. I haven't been very forthcoming in that regard, but I think after this step here, at least some of you will be able to figure out what I'm going for. Perhaps some of you already have. Let me know if you can ascertain what I'm trying to mimic. To be fair, I am taking some artistic liberties, but it's turned out good. That guy, that's Everett. He's a repeat customer. He's come to get some more parts that Ken has brought up from down south. It's too bad I didn't have the shed done by the time he came, but yeah, we don't really have anything in there except for stuff that was in the way. This shed will hold stuff that I collect as well, because here we don't have the hot climate, so our interior pieces are better than down south, and then me and Ken will swap, and that's how we work. Here's another repeat customer getting fenders and a core support as well. Anyway, as I said at the beginning, I wasn't sure how this project was going to evolve. Like, I wasn't even sure I was going to put the tool shed on there. But I'm so glad I did. One, because it makes working on the upper level easy, but also it just looks so cool. This thing has evolved a little bit every day that I've worked on it, and I'm liking the way it's turned out. And I think by now you guys can kind of figure out what I'm trying to mimic. Let me know, were you thinking it looked like a Tudor?
Okay, and since the time lapse only shows the other angle, here's the other side. The trees are kind of in the way, but you can kind of get an idea of that. I might put a piece under here as well. I'm not sure just yet. I probably will, but I haven't. I want to look at some more reference photos and see how I will proceed from here. But anyways, coming into the back here, once again, the trees are kind of crowding it out, but you can kind of get an idea what's going on. Stab myself with this tree branch. I left space up here. I didn't put in our half timber mimic. Gosh, this is a hazard. What is that? I just bent over this metal. What the heck? Oh, I bet you. Oh yeah, this is someone buried like a metal drum in here. I bet it's like the circular. Oh, totally. Is that ash? Oh yeah, that's ash. This was a burn barrel. One of the previous owners of this property, I guess, would have put in the ground here. Always finding random stuff like this in the trees here, and I probably will keep finding random stuff like this in the trees here. Anyway, I've left spaces for some windows if I ever come across any. I think that's for sure something I'm going to add to that. But in the meantime, I love our battens that we've added. Our half timber mimic here. It's added a lot of dimension and character to that for now. So I'm glad that it still looks nice even without the windows. I'll have to source some here in the future. Oh, look at that. I got myself a drink. What is this? Orange juice. Well, fail. Anyway, so 2 windows there, and then these 2 windows, I think that's gonna look good. Windows are always looking quite good, honestly. Another one. A beer for the end of the day. Kobe. The windows, I think I love the look of the glass with the white and the the timbers here. I know that Tudor houses, they typically, the half framing is black or like dark brown or something like that. At least most of the reference that I've seen. And we don't really have that going on here. In fact, our only dark piece is this piece of cedar here. Everything else is fir, pine, and spruce, which is typically lighter, at least with the species we have. Now, it might be different where Tudor houses originated. They might have used the same, you know, coniferous lumber, and maybe it ages differently. The weather's different over there, all sorts of different factors, but I'm pretty sure it was painted, because what pine tree is black, and lots of them are black. Pretty sure they're painted. I could paint this, although I would have to wait a little while because this is all green wood. It was just probably cut like a few months ago. I'm not sure when exactly. And so it's gonna be shedding moisture for quite a while. So if I painted it now, it would all peel off. It wouldn't last. So I think I'm gonna just let it. Oh yeah, look at that. There's still a bunch of sap pouring out of there. So gonna leave that for now. I'm hoping that it will age nicely enough where I don't have to do anything. So it's going to turn gray over time, and I think that's gonna look good. If it doesn't, I can paint it in a couple years time, and maybe I'll decide to do that anyway. In the meantime, I think we are going to focus on our gables here, which we are going to be using some more of our reclaimed cedar siding. Thank you to one of you guys who gave that to me years ago for my chicken coop. I'm going to knock that out. I think I'm also going to put windows in the gables just to add some more dimension and some natural light. And then after that, I'm going to be putting on my fascia board. I'm kind of doing it out of order from what you would how you would typically frame, but it's just, I figured it would make it easier with the way that I'm doing this building in particular. Gosh, that was hard. So I am not looking forward to doing the other side where I have less to stand on. That was such a pain in the butt. These old rafters, they're not exactly the same on both sides, so I had to kind of just up and down and trial and error, but I finally got it close to where I'm happy with it. Now, up at the peak, I didn't cut that miter on either side because I knew it wasn't going to match up, because I just didn't know what the angle was going to be. I could have just ran it proud and then cut it up and then matched the angle on this side, but since I had a problem here, I decided, which this often happens, I just thought of another idea. So I've decided I'm going to put an architectural detail up in there, something a little artistic that will fit in that V groove, and I'll be happy with that. Plus, it makes my job easier. I probably would have covered up that open miter anyway, however it would have opened. But now I'm doing something a little bit different, which I will do a little bit later. But now I ran out of nails, so I gotta get some more nails before I can do the other side. Lucky for me, my father-in-law brought me some nails, and then he burned all my waste, which was nice. And then I did the rest of the fascia with help. The stuff is just freaking heavy, and also the trusses are not symmetrical. Okay, maybe not so hard if I have help from Ken. I'm liking that. I got that V up in there where I'm going to put in a little architectural detail. And I got this fascia board on here. We are sitting strong. I think we can put on the roof now. Okay, so as you can, oh my gosh, I just noticed, why are there so many wasps on here? There's two there, another one there, one flying near me, another one there, just a bunch. I wonder if they're attracted to the tape, because when you like rip it, it has like this very distinct smell. Look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. What are you barking at? Oh, it's Rob. Hello, Rob. I'm helping him build a shed as well. And he's probably coming to get my nail gun because I don't need it anymore. How's it going, Rob? Oh, I'm just explaining to the folks my next step, which is a carryover from early on in the video. Actually, I don't know if it was early on, somewhere in the middle. I don't know. Right. Anyway, ignoring the wasps, which I guess are a theme of this video. Started with wasps, and now wasps throughout, and we'll probably end with wasps. Who knows? They're coming from here, I think. Big ol' nest there. But besides that, we're here on the roof, ready for the next step. And earlier in the video, I had started to mention what these are for. Number one, I can easily walk on the roof. Look at that freaking guy. With decent ease without the need of fall protection, which is great because having like the lanyard to drag around can get quite frustrating. This is easy. I can walk standing up, or I can get on my butt if I need to get really low and get to the edge. As you can see, I already did to tape everything. You may also notice that I've taped even every nail hole in the wood. Oh, I forgot one there. I'll have to remember to do that one, because I just want to mitigate as much risk of water penetration as I can. So one purpose obviously is so I can walk on it without the need of fall protection. Having that lanyard tagging along is going to be a real pain in the butt for the next step. But the other purpose for our lattice, I don't even know if lattice is the correct term, but I need to have something. Don't fall off the roof. A wasp landed right on my finger that was holding the phone here. Freaked me out. If I wasn't so allergic to them, I probably would have just did this or something. But I really don't want to have to spend, oh, that's not a wasp. I don't want to have to spend the rest of the day in the hospital due to anaphylactic shock. But hey, Exhibit A, I was able to crawl down here relatively easily without being scared of falling off this slippery roof and grabbing the phone, which was just precariously hanging off right here. I'll show you exactly where it was with this piece of wood that I accidentally cut off earlier that I wasn't supposed to. You guys were right there like that. You were actually hanging a little bit further off, but I was able to easily just grab the phone by crawling down our ladder. Anyway, the lattice part is I need something to be able to nail to without penetrating our plastic, because taping all this up would be meaningless if I was just going to put more holes in it. I need to be able to nail down, let's see here, right there I got that wire strung out there. I got 4 lengths of that. I need to be able to nail that down to something, so I'm going to do it on my fascia boards and on my ladder lattice. And that's going to hold down our roofing material, which I think is very Tudor-like. We are going to be using straw. Thank you to my brother Mike for giving me the straw. So as I was doing my research, basically just looking at pictures on the Google machine and in a book that I got Ashley for her birthday, I saw basically 3 different styles of roofing on Tudor houses. I know that there's different degrees of your tutoring depending on the class that you were in at the time, but they either had clay tiles, cedar shakes, or thatched roofs. I'm sure there's other things they had too, but that's what I saw most prevalent. And so I am going more towards the thatched roof look. Obviously, I'm only leaning into it because I don't know how to do thatched roofing. I'm just spreading it around, and basically it's just a substitution for soil because it's a lot lighter
It's nice and fluffy, but I've seen people plant potatoes in it. And if you can plant potatoes in it, I'm sure you can plant grass, flowers, moss, different things like that. If it's a fail, so be it. I can just take it off. If you have any advice, let me know.
One thing I don't love is that you can see the blue tape there going down the side. And on this side, you won't see it from the ground, only from up here. And you won't see it once stuff starts growing up there, which is the plan, as I explained earlier. I just need to, this guy's messaging me about buying one of these beds. Sorry, I'm getting distracted here. Doing a lot of things all at once whilst I build this. Trying to sell car parts, which I'm building this for. I've helped Rob build his shed roof thing. I helped my brother Ken decommission a couple trucks.
Woo! So that's what it feels like to steal a catalytic converter.
Also did a couple paintings, and I also finished that taping job that I had started at the beginning of this project, you know, with also numerous other things, getting ready to go up north and then down south, which I might have in another vlog. But for now, I'm working on this. I'm thinking once stuff starts growing up there, if it works, it'll kind of like fall over the edges of the roof and it'll hide that blue. Again, won't see it from the bottom. At least when you're close to it. Now if I back up here, will I be able to see it? Oh, yeah, I can see it. And I don't even have to get that far back. Okay, well, you know what? I have to get some more straw for here anyway, so maybe I'll climb back up there and add some more. The thing is, it's stapled down there, so it's kind of, you know, hard to stuff it in there, but I think I'll lift the staples, put some under there, and then refasten it down, and we'll be fine. It's stapled along the edge here, so it should be pretty stable up there. Plus, I'm not really planning on going up there anyway. All right, well, in the meantime, let's continue on. I think I need to put in some windows so that we look like this. Oh, hey, Henry. You want to give me a hand? What do you think? Is it looking good?
Yeah, it's looking great. I didn't know how the straw was going to stay up there, but it seems like it's going to stay good.
Yeah, I'm just going to add a little more because you can see the blue tape. So I'll do that. Give me your ball.
Great.
Give me your ball. Oh. Okay, I'm going to put in the windows. Oh. Think that these are necessarily what Tudor house windows look like, but they're the windows that I have, and I'm trying to do this on a budget. Let's put this in temporarily, see what it looks like. Probably it's gonna look pretty freaking good. Isn't there a saying that like the windows are like the eyes or the soul or something of a building? I don't know. It's gonna look a lot better with this glass in there. But the one place I don't have the soul is up in the gables here. I wanted to put windows in there just to add some dimension. So I did cut the hole out. Actually, I just was able to save long pieces of my siding on both sides actually. This side I did a little bit differently because we are basically just a flat wall without any extra structure coming out here. So I put in a wider window to kind of center everything. And to do that, I also had to add some more of these battens in here, or our half timber mimic pieces. And I think it actually turned out quite good. I did that because obviously the top half is is wider than the bottom half, and I thought if I put the window in there, it would make it look a little crooked, but then if I made it even with the middle here, then it would have been crooked up there. I think this worked out pretty good, and it looks really good. So I got that all trimmed out, and I just have to wait for glass or make glass or something. I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna do. And then while you're looking up there, you can probably see that I've added some straw. I did that last night, and so now you can't see the blue tape at all, which is nice, no matter how far back you are. So I quite like that. And at the same time, I also put straw up on the tool shed here, which also has its own window. A different style of window, but I think it still matches. Again, I'm just going with what I have, and I thought it looked pretty good. We have, you know, a bump out here to go to this window, so I don't think it takes away that the two glass pieces look different. I think that they're perfectly fine. Probably up top, those two glass will be a little bit different as well. Just depends on what kind of window that I can get, but overall I quite like how it's turning out. Now, to go with the glass, we also need to put in a door. Luckily, I have a couple slabs around the corner here. One of them might work. What the heck? My fake window is falling apart. Where's this piece? Oh, look at this. We have a wasp colored caterpillar. Hey, buddy. Oh, there it is. There it is. Stick that back on there. Like so. Right? Put this in there like that. There. That's better. I dig it. Anyways, I got a couple of slabs here. Obviously, that one doesn't look as good as it can be. You see those wasps? I gotta be a little careful because there's a ground nest right here. The last time I got stung was from ground nesters. Don't want that to happen again. I don't feel like being a used car salesman. I just want to be a used car parts salesman. Anyway, okay, this slab is a little plain, so we'll skip that one. That's an indoor slab and it's too small. Another slab that's just a little too plain Jane, doesn't even have a window in it. But this one here in the back, now this one has some character. It's more what we're looking for, even if it's not exactly correct. Now it looks like it's a 34 or 36. It's a 36. I wish it was a 38, but I think this will work. Although we'll probably have to cut it a little bit to make it fit right. We'll see what we can do. Hopefully we can use it because we have it. So our slab is 79 inches and our rough opening of our building is roughly 72.5 inches. So that's a huge discrepancy. I do want to use this door though because I quite like it. If we cut some off the top, I don't want to do too much because then it'll look a little goofy, but if I cut a little bit off the top, let's say I cut off 2 inches, right? So 2 inches, so that's 71 there. So I am going to need to put a piece of trim. Well, if that's straight enough, then I won't have to, and it should be pretty straight. That makes it 71, but I also want to put some on the bottom here. Let's see here. What can I do? I have all this room down here. I don't care if it goes below the floor. I just have to modify it and finish this up. I kind of wish that I didn't stop taking slabs from people because people are always trying to give me doors because they don't know what to do with them and they think I can use them, but I don't build that many things that need doors. I also have that door over there, but it doesn't have glass in it. I also don't know if this is tutory, but honestly it doesn't really matter to me. We're at 78.5. I don't really have much room to cut off anything. How wide are we? We're 32 inches. I wonder what the other door is on the tool shed part. Up and down doesn't matter. Oh, this is probably only 30 inches, I think. Yeah, this is only 30 inches, which means it can only take a 28-inch door, unless these are perfectly plumb and square and all that. Then I can use this as the jam. I'll figure it out. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. We have a door in place. I didn't even cut it. I just had to think a little bit of how I was going to get it in place without taking away its, decorative look and its structural favor, because it's a pretty good door, solid fir door, pretty heavy. It's got the nice leaded stained glass in there, and I just overall liked it. So figured out a way to get it in there without cutting it, which makes it just a little bit awkward on the outside, but I was able to figure it out with the trim, of which I didn't actually even have enough long lengths, so I had to get creative again with a solution. And my solution was, what I actually want to do here is, this is a pun that really inspired me making this out of OSB. I knew I was going to always make it out of OSB, and I wanted the OSB to show, and I didn't want it to be ugly. I don't think it's ugly at all in this configuration. And with that, I was thinking, what could I call this shed? Give it a name? Well, this OSB shed is primarily for holding OBS truck parts, and building it by myself was a son of a bitch. So at some point I'm going to try to come up with, I got to do a little more reference searching of how nameplates for houses were made, or how they were displayed, anything like that. But I want it to be basically OSB, OBS, SOB. I'm going to put that somewhere on this placard. I might even just change it, but that was basically my solution for not having a long enough piece of trim there, which I really dig. And then, speaking of trimming, I just trimmed the opening a little bit of the shed so I could put the green door in there. Green on the inside, white on the outside. But overall, pretty freaking, ignore this. We had a guy come to pick up a truck bed, and I needed to move some stuff out of the way so we could get through. So basically, she's done, minus our embellishments that we're going to be putting in these peaks, and then one on the other side. I think what I'm going to do is start off with doing this one right here with this weather vane that I got from one of the places that I helped Alex with during this project. Alex from Curiosity Inc. actually invited me to 2 clear outs. I don't know if you heard that I'm multitasking here. I'm gonna bring this truck to the road, possibly sell it. Anyway, I'm gonna use this for the one peak, but I thought for the other 3 peaks, I could get suggestions from the audience. So let me know what you guys think would look good with the other, let's call it jewelry, but the other like finials or weather vanes or whatever else could go in the peaks. Now, I don't know if the horse and buggy would be accurate to Tudor times, but I think that's okay, because this wasn't built in Tudor times, and I like it. So, in any case, this building is a great addition to the boneyard here. I definitely need to clean this up, and I plan on cleaning up all this stuff. But for now, this is quite an improvement, and I really, really like it. And I'll probably do a few more things. I'm still not sure about this, and a few other little bits like down and around here. Stay tuned for another vlog where I may do bits and pieces to this to improve it, plant the roof and all that stuff. There's more to come, but in the meantime, since it's kind of done, basically done. Why don't we start filling it up? And what better to start with than with this radiator cap that I had found whilst building it. See, this is one of the things I'll have to add to it. The door handles, because obviously we need a door handle. I'm gonna get one of those, like those kind that has the keypad on it, but for now, that's what we have. All right, there we go. We're starting to get stocked in here. So this is, if I back up here, this is the main floor here, right? We got this window looking into the back here. We got a space underneath the stairs, and then upstairs we have basically nothing still, because yeah, we haven't done anything. Another thing that I'll have to do is put in a railing, but I think I want to put cabinets or something here. So I haven't been worried about that just yet. This piece of glass here, this was one of the ideas I had for here. I also thought that circular piece of glass that I got from one of the clear outs I did with Alex, I was thinking that would be cool to have a circle window. That would have been awesome, but it was much too big, so I couldn't do that. Still gonna put maybe a window there and a window there. Like I said, stay tuned for another vlog where I'll do something about that. What I'd like to do is actually check the comments for your suggestions, because you've probably thought of some ideas and you may even have some advice that I haven't thought of. But in the meantime, I'm going to focus on getting this thing stocked up for customers. Customers, I don't know, sounds kind of weird. We already have some stuff in here, actually quite a bit of stuff. And this would be the stuff that would be for here, stuff that came from down south for the most part, not everything. Obviously we took these two windshields off. This one in the front I'll probably sell, but the one in the back, that one's actually going to go onto my pickup truck. Because remember when I freaking...
You know what it is? There's a piece of the saw that sticks out. I think it's on that fence. It hit your frame too.
Oh, yes. Oh, no. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Okay, well, that makes sense why I hit it. Yeah. Or why I broke it.
I'm just really not liking how this back glass went on, because obviously the rubber here, it's peeling off there. It's like kinked up in here. It just wasn't meant to be a permanent solution, and I haven't been able to get it done, let's say, properly. So I'm just going to do it myself with the 4-panel that I got off of the old white truck. And then it'll look like it did when I got it. So that will, I'm glad that I got that. So everything down here in this area, this is all the stuff plus extra stuff that I can just get myself that has come from down south. So this is stuff to be sold here, the rust-free parts, right? Like the fenders, the core supports. Some of the stuff is sold already. They just haven't come and got it. The tailgates, maybe even a bumper or two, anything that wouldn't be prone to rust. I guess also, well, these came off the trucks that we had here, and so they are rusty, but drive shafts, steering columns. Oh, we should have another steering column as well. We also got some transmission and stuff. Transmissions are aluminum, so they don't rust, but you know, anything that is heavy, too heavy to bring upstairs, of course we would leave down here as well. I also got some headers and stuff. These ones I don't need because I have different ones. I have lights on here. These I'll probably just give away. I freaking had these in another vlog where I opened them all excitedly and then I see that they're actually junk, but someone else might be able to use them. Radiator caps. Actually, you know what? I'll probably put that in here, in this pigeonhole cabinet here, where I have a whole bunch of different things. Like I have bed hardware. I have I have little terminal things for batteries. Terminal things. I don't know. That's probably not the official word. We got switches and stuff. This is a fuel switch. We got door switches, so on and so forth. And then upstairs, we are going to have all the stuff that I pull from up here in the north. It's going to be interior parts though, rather than exterior parts. Right now, I don't have anything because we actually already packed it up, all the dashes and visors and such. But if you can imagine, maybe I'll put a shelf in here and we'll put it there. This is a bumper for my truck. It's off of a bull nose. I just think it has a nicer profile. So I'll be putting it on that truck once I do the body work and stuff, the paint and such that you might have noticed is peeling. That will be in the future. Can't wait to put that on. It's going to look sick. This is my supercharger parts for the same truck and Mustang parts for my car and so on and so forth. This is Chevy parts. These I actually got from the freaking dump. So thank you to whoever brought those over. I'll make a couple pennies off those. And then this is a Chevy fender. I think they called this era of Chevy OBS as well. OBS meaning old body style. I'm not sure. I'm not a Chevy guy. And then, of course, I still need to do, like, for safety, put a cabinet there. These cabinets I got from my brother Mike. He just acquired a bunch of woodworking tools. And as you can see here, hard maple, Manitoba maple, Russian olive. Okay, that's kind of cool. Miscellaneous hardwoods. I'm assuming that this was to hold turning blanks because it's kind of shallow. I'm just using it to store different car parts and such. And I'll probably just add some more cabinets in here, shelving in here. I can even put stuff in the rafters like these fuel lines and those transmission lines. Those are slow sellers, so I just put them up here. But you get the point. I'm imagining you get the point anyway. Again, if you have suggestions for what you think might make this a more efficient or a better space, like I obviously know that I should do some pest control and such. Like I'm not necessarily imagining that, but anything that you think I may not have thought of, I'd love to hear from you. So that's the top floor area in here. And as time goes on, things will change as we get different things. As we get more things, we have room for more things. Obviously, our goal is to have nothing because we want to sell it all. But what if we get a bunch of donor trucks? That's too good of a deal. We can scrap everything off like this right here. I got this off of one of the trucks. That's going to go to Stephanie for her pickup truck. Some of you know Stephanie. Some of you follow her. I'll put her link in the description to her channel. What do you want me to do?
If you just go on the truck, there's something for you guys I wanted to give.
Yeah, we got so much stuff off of those trucks. They're gone now, as you can see. There's Ashley and Archie. We were able to take those away yesterday. We were able to utilize some of those parts for ourselves. Like I already mentioned, the windshield I'm going to use. But also remember at the beginning of the video where I couldn't roll up the window? Well, that's taken care of. And now that everything has been stripped off of those that we could use, off to the scrapper to make money off of scrap value. I was hoping to keep these wheels for my rainbow truck because they're black and they're all the same. Oh wait, actually that one's different. Okay, I don't care anymore. Never mind. Anyway, we're gonna get this thing offloaded here and maybe it will go and sit with its dad and brother. What I really want are wheels like that if I can find them. But they got it parked there with the other two, ready to get crushed. But we took everything off of it that we could possibly use. Everything else is either damaged or will never be needed. Those dang wheels. And then same goes for the white truck that I had parked in front of the F100. That's gone too, with lots of parts taken off and some utilized. Took out the dash, basically anything that we could resell. These are vinyl, can't resell those, no one cares about those. Headliners too done. This color happens to be the same color as the Lightnings. Oh, I even replaced the handle that I broke off of that truck as well. Some people might not be able to understand like what makes it worth it. Those two trucks we bought for I think $600 total. Already made $1,000, so that's $400 profit. We'll probably make at least $2,000 more with the stuff that's going down south, plus a bunch of other miscellaneous things that will sell in time. So it's worth it. It's worth it to us. Glad to have those gone though, because it looks better. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
And good news, having this parking lot empty like this, we also sold the other crew cab. So we're going to be looking like this for a while.
It's so empty now.
Yeah. And what do you think of the shed?
It's very cute. It looks too nice to be a car part shed.
Well, it's not just a car part shed. It's also a tool shed.
Yeah, I haven't seen this yet.
Right? So we have the, what was the chicken coop shed.
It's so organized.
Right?
Yeah. Can I go in?
Yeah.
Wow. It has hooks on the walls and everything. And you can actually walk inside. This is nice. It looks awesome. It's so organized. And you can walk inside. And it's not, you know how it was before?
Yeah, all crowded.
Everything was like piled in a pile because we couldn't.
Yeah, there was no shelves or anything. And there was some hooks, some stuff hung up, but not like this. And then having this little nook in here also helps quite a bit. I'm actually gonna have the grass seed here. I'm gonna grab some of that. It might rain come the next couple days. I don't know if any of those are going to take root. The grass must root, right? I don't know if that seed is going to take, but we'll see. So it's a tool shed slash car part shed. Some people agree with you. Perhaps it is too nice to be those things, but why not?
Yeah.
This way we have, I mean, minus the rest of the boneyard, I'll probably do the real beauty shots once I read your suggestions, and if I can add anything. Add the hardware like the door stuff, probably a light, maybe the windows if I can get some of those done. Locks and, you know, different things like that. Actually, you should put the lock on that we had before, just in case. Don't steal our stuff. Hey, Archie. Lots of people miss you. Oh. Well, there you go. Anyway, my take on it is that nobody talks about a regular shed, but this is a conversation piece. If someone were to criticize me, like, why would you waste all that time and blah, blah, blah. I didn't waste any time. I made something awesome that will go with our property. Mine is the mess, which we will get to. It'll go with the property once we are further down the line with what we have a vision for. That's probably not how you say that, but you understand what I'm saying. Archie might be after a mouse. Or what?
There's been a lot of dead mice.
There has been tons along the road in here.
I think because they were living in that other.
Oh, they might have been living in there. Yeah, that's the old floor. I didn't use it because it was full of the smell of rodent. So I put a new floor in here, which gave me, I used all of the material I could use, but it gave me an excuse to get rid of the one piece of subfloor OSB I had left. And I am so happy that it turned out this way. Our total cost for this thing, because we used a lot of scrapped, reclaimed, and cull, I used almost all of this up, almost all of my cull pile up, almost all of the stuff I had over there. Oh yeah, got rid of one bed. Now I gotta get rid of, I think these 3 are sold and that one is sold as well. But they'll come later. Oh, freaking wasps. Anyway, our total cost was only $1,100. As I edit this video in this loud ass truck, sorry, Ken and I are heading up north with a huge ass load here. But Ashley went to town and she just sent me this picture. What a difference in value and bang for the buck. And then I figured that the cheapest I could build it if I got all new materials would be $3,600. And that doesn't factor in labor at all. I'm not sure what I would charge to build this. I would probably charge maybe $5,000 to build this, maybe something like that. But I would also have someone helping me, and we could probably do it in 2 days instead of, what was it, 17 or something like that. Pretty good, and pretty good on my brain thing. 4 days out of the 17 or so days that I worked on this were the only days that I had bad evenings, which is pretty freaking good. So the Botox thing, minus not having, oh, there is one right there. Okay, I have some wrinkles still, but minus not having the wrinkles and looking completely weird to my own self anyway, I love it. I wish I would have known about this 2 years ago when this started, 2 years and like 4 months ago when this started, because holy cow, was that ever awful, and does it ever suck to not be able to do what you once did. But we're getting hopefully somewhere with my brain thing, and hopefully it just gets better and better. And another positive is I didn't get stung. I almost did, but I didn't.
That was in my freaking eye. What the heck?
I was not expecting a beetle or whatever the heck that was to suicide itself in my eye. But I guess that's the nature of nature. And, you know, always expect the unexpected when it comes to that. Which is kind of, you know, the theme of this project. I was not expecting to build such a large building, but I'm glad I did. Although it wasn't necessarily on purpose. It's just that the materials that I initially started off with didn't work together well enough for me to build something smaller, and so it evolved, and then it turned into a tour house, which I was not meaning to do at all when I first started off, but it turned into that because the way that it was shaping up, I was like, you know what, this kind of reminds me of this, and it reminds me of that, and then the OSB lends itself to the look of the wattle and daub of a Tudor house, and so here we have a mimic, and I think it turned out pretty freaking good, if I do say so myself, and nothing went wrong. Ironically, this is so silly, but if I was healthy, I probably wouldn't have come up with a cool end result like this. It probably still would have been interesting, but this went beyond, because like this took me 17 days, which should tell you that I didn't work long days every day. Of course, building it mostly by myself. Thank you to everyone who did help me, including Landon, Jaden, Jarrett, Ken, Rob with material, Joe, my father-in-law, Armando, Ashley, Johnny B even helped me a little bit, and I think even my brother Dakota did as well. And thank you to Mike for supplying some of the material too. But if I was healthy, I probably wouldn't have taken 17 days. I probably would have taken maybe 6 or 7 days to do something like that by myself. But it did take me 17 days, and nothing bad happened. I didn't fall, nothing fell on me. Although, one thing I probably should mention here, I built this thing on blocks, and that might concern some people. Be like, ooh, wouldn't that be a little unstable? I built it on blocks so that I could avoid paying extra taxes on the square footage. If anything has a permanent foundation, it's deemed permanent, but if it's on blocks, it's temporary, and then you don't have to pay tax on there. I built my chicken coop the same way, on stilts, on blocks, and after 5 years, it's still perfectly level. So I'll just keep an eye on this, but I don't think anything's gonna go wrong. But expect the unexpected. If I notice anything, I will of course address it, and I have the means to, so I'm not worried there. But anyway, nothing fell on me. I didn't fall. I didn't cut myself. Nothing got sliced off. Basically, everything went quite swimmingly, considering how I started and carried on with the project, which I'm pretty stoked about. So that's good. that means that I can continue on. And the next thing to do is actually, I gotta leave here in like 5 minutes to go up north to my brother's gold claim. Maybe I'll vlog about that. That'll be in another vlog though. To be continued. Dang. With a load of manure. Or no, that's not manure.
Just mud.
Just mud. Hey, we're in a town called Taylor. I just finished editing my video, exporting, and I already started uploading it while we have service because we're getting into the foothills and such here in BC. And then I realized, oh shit, I forgot to address the wide angle. Let me turn this around. There's a wide angle shot and there's no thing here. There is on my finger. That's a blood blister thanks to Ken. But there's no blemish there anymore. That was just paint that splattered on there. I've been working on some paintings because I have an art show coming up. And I just realized that was probably very windy, so hopefully you heard everything I said. I have an art show coming up, so I've been working on a bunch of paintings, and a lot of them are very splattered. And so I must have gotten some on the lens. I didn't realize it, and I couldn't see it because it was so small. Oh, thank you. Ken rolled up the windows there. This truck is already loud enough. And it was such a small fleck that I didn't see it. And then as I cleaned all the lenses, because sometimes your phone will say, clean your lens because no one's going to be able to see shit. Or something like that it says. I have a Samsung. I don't know what your phone says when your lenses get dirty, but that's what mine says. Something like that. So I did it. I cleaned it with the cleaner stuff, and I was like, oh, it's paint. So, yeah, there we go. Anyway, thanks for watching.